I think Oda is very good at character design and like long, drawn out, perfectly created worlds and world building and universe building. But I don't think his fight sequences are super well thought out. It's always just like bouldering against an opponent. And Marineford basically showed that. Don't talk about Oda, unsubscribe. I'm sorry. I've been holding off on like talking about Marineford, and I know that this is a controversial opinion, but I think that it left me wanting more, and I wanted more fight choreography. And Marineford, for the most part, had a lot of that like old school Dragon Ball style, like waiting for something to happen. I mean, the entire plot was designed around one pivotal moment happening. You know what I mean? And it just like kept being pushed back for like silly reasons. And there was so much like posturing. There was so much waiting around, right? And a lot of that made me feel like it was like almost like an old school anime. Whereas, I mean, maybe it's because I'm consuming it in the anime format and not in the manga format. But like, you know, it just felt a little. I get why people say read the manga instead of watching the anime for a lot of these works, but I specifically understand why they do that for One Piece, especially. People always compare Naruto and One Piece, but one thing I will say about Naruto is their fights are unmatched. One Piece is still better overall. Yes. I mean, there isn't like, you can't really make any anime music videos out of One Piece fight sequences in the same way that you can about Naruto fight sequences, but I like One Piece more than I like Naruto, so that should say something for you, right? I don't think that. I think that Goat Piece is in an entirely different playing field with respect to like world building, concepts, politics, how it's perfectly interwoven through the story in and of itself. Whereas Naruto is like more of a jock style anime, kind of like Dragon Ball Z, where you just want to see like, you know, you want to see the fights, and the fights are great. New World is more politics heavy. Be prepared. I mean, I love that. So that's what I'm excited about. So anyway, overall for Marineford, I think that like it due to all of the other animes that I have watched, it left me wanting more. I wanted to see cooler fight sequences. There were certainly moments where it was great, right? It's a pivotal plot point, and that's totally understandable. It's a pivotal plot point, which is why it's very important, and I think that they do a good job of like emphasizing the importance of that for the entire world to change. And I think that's fine. But also, it's one big battle, and I think having one big battle for the entire arc leans into Oda's weakness overall. I can't speak on it for the manga because I haven't read that, but on the anime, when it's animated, Oda's fight sequences, unfortunately, are not as interesting as you would see with like other animes that have like very almost turn-based style strategy baked into their fight sequences, like, you know, I would even go so far as to say JoJo, right? Or it lacks the fluid motion of even something that I don't think is as good as One Piece, but, you know, Naruto. So it's always just like, if you have an entire arc designed around fighting, and designed around combat, you know, the cool characters and the introduction of cool characters and them deploying their special powers only goes so far. And I think that is that was Marineford's biggest weakness, which is why I think it's not one of my favorite arcs. It's up there, it's great, but that's how I feel about it. It's definitely an anime issue. The fights feel more fluid in the manga, plus the level of detail changes too. Oh, for sure. I gotta disagree with you on this one. So many different characters and abilities coming together and combining to achieve something greater than the individual. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. I think that it could have been better. It's basically just I felt like it was basically just bouldering towards a target as Luffy always does, which is fine. But like, even it would have been cooler if there was some tactics. Like, think about why you absolutely despise, not Aokiji, the other one. Why do you despise him? Akainu. Why do you despise him? Wonderful character, but also does some up throughout the process, right? Like, that is important. That's like the only element of like additional tactics that you see that isn't just like might versus might. Literally a fascist, I know. But he's a great villain. Why is he a great villain? Because he's not just like straight up super powerful. He's also doing some tactics. And I think that even amplifies. I think it even amplifies the characters a little bit better. Problem is, most of the main characters aren't so cunning. Yeah. Sometimes One Piece fights are structured like car chases than like Naruto style fights. Yes. That's what I'm saying. I just, One Piece is an incredible work of art. I mean, it's like the Odyssey, okay? You literally need a commitment. You need to make a commitment to be able to get into it. And I think it's worth it in the long run. However, having said that, the only element that I consider to be weak in the entire work is, like I said, fight sequences that aren't very heavy on tactics, nor are they very fluid. Like, you don't see a lot of like really cool cinematics in within the fight sequences. That's my take. And considering the fact that Marineford, beyond the introduction of all these like super cool characters, beyond being like a super pivotal plot point in the overall super pivotal storyline in the overall story, it was one that heavily tried to feature fights, and that's why you saw so many slower moments. And I think the pacing was not so great, especially because the fights come across a little dull. It's always like you're loading up, pushing towards a barrier. Oh no, a barrier happened, and then you got to load up, push up, push. Oh no, setback, push, setback, push. There's no tactics. There's no tactics whatsoever, and I wish there was. Also, there was no Zoro, which, you know, or Sanji, or Nico Robin, even Nami. I don't care that Usopp wasn't there, or Brook is not being there is not that significant, but like those would have been nice. Excited to see what happens. Chopper didn't even get mentioned on purpose. Chopper's side story in the arc. So that was my take on Marineford. In the arc that I'm currently in, post Marineford, where like they're gearing up for the new world, I get this feeling that I got before the Grand Line, where they basically made it seem like this was, you know, the most intense, the most deadly experience. Oh my God, it's going to be so much. It's going to be so scary. Like, oh, East Blue is nothing in comparison to the Grand Line. And then you get into the Grand Line and you got like whole civilians living there, you know what I mean? And you're like, what the was that even possible? I thought people were like dying. So I'm excited to see what happens in the new world. I think that the new world will be great too. And we'll see what happens. I'm just, dude, I get giddy every time I see like anytime I see a minor mention of Dragon or the Revolutionaries, I get so stoked. Coolest aspect of the entire world, okay? Super, super stoked. It makes me very excited. They are the coolest part of the entire universe. I'll stand by that sentiment. So that's it though. On that front, we're done. You know, those are my One Piece updates. I hope you guys appreciated that. I'm enjoying it very much, and I'm excited for the new world.